Hi everybody, this is Christopher Smith from WeCanRewind.com. After weeks of reviewing as many Academy Award nominated films as possible before the Academy Awards hit last Sunday, what's gone overlooked are reviews of newer, more popular fare now in theaters. So here's some atonement, a rundown of 3 recent films. First up is Mark Waters' Spiderwick Chronicles, which is based on the popular series of books. Kerry Kirkpatrick, David Berenbaum, and John Sayles are credited with the screenplay, but it's likely that they don't mention it. In spite of the talent on display here, the result is an uneven effort, to say the least. Freddie Highmore plays 2 characters, twins Jared and Simon, with Jared's bold combativeness in stark contrast to Simon's more, shall we say, delicate demeanor. Sarah Bulger is their older sister Mallory, who conveniently knows her way around a sword, and Mary Louise Parker is their recently divorced mother, who has left New York and moved them all into one mother of a haunted house far away in the country. Naturally, that house is bulging with mysteries and problems, most of which are unleashed when Jared finds an ancient-looking book written by author Spiderwick and opens it in spite of warnings not to do so. When he does, a wealth of computer-generated freaks and monsters spring forth, with one towering, fearless ogre especially determined to get his hands on that book, for reasons best not revealed here.
Give me the book!
Spiderwick is another in a long line of children's books translated for the big screen, and that's part of its problem. If you're going to compete in an arena already owned by the Harry Potter and Narnia franchises, you'd better enter that fray determined to show you can compete favorably with them, and that's where Spiderwick runs into trouble. While it earns points for being genuinely scary and the special effects are good, the film isn't nearly as compelling as its competition. The tale bogs down in its hectic switch from fantasy to reality, and there's a sense that it might be only here to cash in. Next up is Doug Liman's sci-fi thriller Jumper, a complicated mess that doesn't offer audiences a single challenge beyond the very real challenge of trying to get through it. In the film, Hayden Christensen is David Rice, a jumper whose powers of teleportation are under attack by a paladin named Roland Samuel Jackson, bleached, bellowing, boring, who is trying to kill David and other jumpers as they leap about the world, while David also tries to rescue his girlfriend back in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Tell me. If you don't want to tell me everything, that's fine. Just don't lie to me.
If Ann Arbor sounds like a come-down considering all the exotic locales the movie visits, from Egypt to Prague, Japan to New York and beyond, it is, for sure, but at least it's in keeping with the movie's ongoing run of disappointments. With the exception of Jamie Bell as a fellow jumper, he has a sort of presence Christensen must crave. Everything in this exhausting movie goes wrong, which is curious since Liman directed the excellent Firstborn movie, and yet here he puts the squeeze of stupidity on us right from the start, unless you're willing to wade through the film's embarrassing plot holes, or are seeking one of the season's bigger unintended comedies, Skip Jumper. It's an abstract junker and in an adolescent way.
I'm gonna tell you the story, and I'm not telling you who your mom is.
Fine.
You're just gonna have to figure it out for yourself.
Good.
And I'm changing all the names and some of the facts. I just decided that right now because I make the rules, and then we're gonna see how smart you are.
I like it. It's like a love story mystery. I'm ready.
But don't miss Adam Brooks's Definitely Maybe, which is one of the better romantic comedies to come along in a while. It's a film that at once embraces formula and, in critical scenes, dismisses it altogether. It's Brooks's eagerness to try different approaches to the otherwise rote material that gives his movie its offbeat edge and which keeps it rooted in some semblance of reality.
What's a threesome?
That's a game that adults play sometimes when they're bored.
Whatever.
Early in the film, Will Hayes, played by Ryan Reynolds in a fine performance, is asked a few difficult questions by his inquisitive 10-year-old daughter, Maya, played by Abigail Breslin. Some of those questions involve sex, which she's learning more than a bit about at school, and another involves the reason why Will is divorcing Maya's mother. That question proves the landmine.
Oh my God!
Since we don't know who the mother is, what ensues is a trip back in time to 1992 to find out. There we see a younger Will leaving his girlfriend, played by Elizabeth Banks, to work on the Clinton campaign, and apparently, when their relationship fizzles in New York, to enjoy a share of women. Those women include an office worker played by Isla Fisher, and a journalist played by Rachel Weisz, two fine actresses who join Banks in playing their roles very differently and very well.
Oh, that part.
You're a great writer.
It is, in fact, a virtue of the film that none of the women come off as types. Like Will himself, sometimes we like them, sometimes we don't, which makes for a richer experience all around. Manipulation is at work in this movie, hello, Breslin, but it doesn't suffocate you because Brooks increasingly finds ways to deepen his characters, including one played by Kevin Kline, who is so on and so in line with what Brooks is trying to achieve here, he nearly steals the show. I give the Spiderwick Chronicles a C+, Jumper a D, and definitely maybe a B+.